Hello, and welcome back to the Okanagan Reader. I'm your host, Jim Bowering. What if you didn't ride time like a train on tracks? What if you hopped about like a drop of water on a hot skillet? Today's reading is Hanizas Slipstream by Aaric Tan Xiang Yeow. Aaric Tan Xiang Yeow's poems have appeared in Hawai'i Review, From Walden to Woodlands, The Missing Slate, and elsewhere. He co-edited Red Pulse II, an anthology centered on a sunny island set in the sea. He has received a top award from the National Poetry Festival, as well as a Golden Point Award from the National Arts Council. His undergraduate research on organometallic radicals culminated in a published article in a peer-reviewed journal. He has been busy. The quantum theme in Haniza's Slipstream is time. Are you ready for the skillet? Here we go then.
Haniza's Slipstream by Aaric Tan Xiang Yeow. Then she was 16, sobbing and smiling and giving birth to a child whose father was a classmate and a basketball boy and a few months younger. She was supposed to repeat a year, but skipped 2, returning only after her ex-classmates left. Then she was 5, and raising her hand, the only one who wanted to be a teacher. She turned 20 and tried to explain to her eldest daughter why she was a cleaner. Then she was 10, 34, 12, and 53, grasping for someone to hold her hand. For her, time is a clump of tangled knots. There is no definite beginning and no traceable end. No narrative arc of past, present, future. All she can remember are intersections. She was 13 with 8 siblings from 3 other stepfathers. Her mother was in the hospital, this time with a bruise on her forehead, a split lower lip, and a possible concussion. Her stepfathers were gone, the way stains dissolve in soap. Of course, she left her mother alone in the hospital. If not, Halessia would battle with Hamid over the bolster and Halim would sleep along the corridor. Little Hariz needed a milk bottle, a shower in the sink, and someone to cuddle him to sleep. It was the first time she had to leave her there. At another time not, she was 50 years old, shriveled, but her fingers were smooth, worn away from the rhythmic scrubbing of soapy cloth against plates at a hawker center. No palm print, no fingerprint, no thumbprint. Somehow, she knew she would lose all those that made her who she was. Then she was 18, and attempting her O-levels. Crumpled her essay, only to realize that she did not have time to write another. A year later, which is to say a flicker knot away, she retook her papers as a private candidate. This time, her grades were lower compared to her first attempt. On her way home, she observed the family sitting across from her. Toot, toot, the father hummed to a burrito-like baby in his arms. But it isn't steam-powered, sighed the lady next to him, so it goes thrum, thrum, thrum. Her ex-husband was pleading for another chance. She opened the door to give her children the family she never had. The wind chime, stuck to the back of the door, tinkled, and her eldest daughter cowered behind her. 3 time knots away, her son called her a whore, who deserved every slap she ever received before leaving the flat forever. She imagined herself surrounded by siblings whom she raised, and her children whom she didn't have the time to raise. They were having a seaside picnic, and someone picked up a fish which had been slammed by the tides against the rocky shore, and filleted it. The waves crept forward and retreated, as if curious, yet fearful. Time behaves differently, the way a cat rubs against its owners and scratches strangers. For most, time is linear, thus boring, with clear cause and effect. For some, time is a pivot, which they revolve around like stars drawn to its gravity. For people like her, time is a mess of unpredictable experiences. At another point, she was a baby, standing in her cot, one hand grabbing the railing, another reaching for the overcast clouds outside the adjacent window. That night, she stretched for the balloon of a moon. The beauty and problem with her timeline was its chaos. She did not remember the in-betweens fraught with hurt and fears. She did not remember those journeys between time knots where lessons that could be learned were not learned. So she let her ex-husband back into the flat, where he proceeded to touch her eldest daughter again. Then she wept while reading a letter her daughter wrote because it was Mother's Day, and everyone in class had to write one. "Mum," the letter began, "I remember how you worked from 6 in the morning to 10 at night, but still refused to buy me an Elsa doll. Everyone has one, even Jessie. I guess you don't really like me the way you like the rest, but it is okay. I still love you because you're my mum." 21 years before receiving this letter, her mother spanked her for failing her primary school leaving exams. Once or twice each week, she would call her a failure to remind her not to give up so easily. She was 30, and her daughter was applying an ointment to her wounds. The sizzling oil from the wok had splashed on her forearm. There were pink blisters of various sizes. Some were small, but the largest was the size of a 10-cent coin. Several knots away, she told her teacher that true love knew no boundaries and recognized no age limit. She wanted to marry that basketball boy and raise a family of chubby children with him. When she was younger, she believed in fairy tales, in knights with shining armor who rescued damsels trapped in castles, in Cinderellas and Sleeping Beauties, in magic and myths and mystics. Folklores have it that seers exist. They can scry the past and the future, careening from event to event. These people exist, but what they do is not magic. She will continue to see herself such as that time when she scraped her knees after falling off her bicycle, or that kiss in the boys' bathroom, or that baby cradled in her arms, or when a teacher called to inform her that her son was drawing skulls on every worksheet and that palm-shaped mark she left on his swollen cheek.